Welcome to the News Hour. After 15 months of war, the guns over Gaza are scheduled to go silent in just over 24 hours. That's after the Israeli government approved the ceasefire deal a short time ago.
According to that deal, the war will stop for at least 6 weeks, and Israeli hostages as well as Palestinian detainees will be released. In a moment, Nick Schifrin speaks with the UN coordinator for humanitarian relief, who's just been appointed envoy for Middle East peace. But he starts with this report on the tense hours before the fighting is expected to stop.
Tonight in Gaza, one of Israel's final strikes, as Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and the Israeli cabinet approved the ceasefire to begin on Sunday. Culture Minister Miki Zohar.
We hope that in the future we will be able to finish the job in Gaza. This is something that we want to do, but now we want to bring our people back home.
Gazans who today are still grieving their dead, still desperate for food, know the war could resume after the 6-week ceasefire. But there is cautious hope these scenes, this deprivation, will soon be past.
When they said there would be a truce, we were so happy we couldn't sleep all night and all day. We're exhausted from our exhaustion. Our youth is gone. Our lives are gone. Our world is gone.
You can't take out 2, 10, 12, 1,500 people.
Last night on MSNBC, President Biden said he pushed Netanyahu to be restrained in Gaza.
I said, you can't be carpet bombing these communities. And he said to me, well, you did it. You carpet bombed, not his exact words, but you carpet bombed Berlin. You dropped a nuclear weapon. You killed thousands of innocent people because you had to in order to win a war. I said, but that's why we came up with the UN.
And it is the UN planning to surge humanitarian trucks into Gaza starting Sunday. Joining me now is Sigrid Kaag, who just today was named UN Special Coordinator for the Middle East Peace Process, adding that portfolio to her other job, the UN Senior Humanitarian and Reconstruction Coordinator for Gaza. Sigrid Kaag, thanks very much. Welcome back to the News Hour. Congratulations on the new job. You enter this peace process job with a transformed region, Iran and its proxies on its back foot, a new U.S. president who's close to the Israeli government, and the Arab world's willingness to normalize with Israel if Israel takes steps toward a Palestinian state. So do you see this as a moment of opportunity for the peace process?
Well, I think we've gone through deep crisis in the region, and this is indeed a moment of potential opportunity. We all need to seize the moment, starting, of course, with the crisis in Gaza, securing successful implementation of the ceasefire, but looking at the horizon, which is a safe and secure Israel alongside the establishment of a viable, independent Palestinian state.
The current Israeli government has resisted the two-state solution, and some of its members are talking about annexation in the West Bank. Where does that leave the peace process?
It's rendering the prospects of the realization of a two-state solution even further out of sight. But coming back to your opening question, are we at an historical moment, potentially with new opportunities? I would say yes, but it depends on many factors, and above all, political will and leadership to see this through.
The ceasefire that has been agreed upon by the Israeli cabinet today, which allows for a humanitarian surge into Gaza. Is the UN ready, and are there conditions in Gaza that will allow for that humanitarian surge to arrive?
The UN is as ready as it can be. Obviously, there's a lot of work ahead of us. Conditions in Gaza are appalling. It will be very hard to deliver aid as we would like to. We don't have a mechanism on law and order because we don't have clarity on what the governance will be for and in Gaza. In recent months, it's been extremely difficult to work, not just because of the fighting that goes on, but also the criminality and looting that takes place. That doesn't disappear overnight. So we have to work in very insecure conditions. I don't expect that it will see miracles on day one in Gaza, but as a collective effort, everybody is working to prepare to make sure we try as best as possible.
Today, can you describe the scale of the scarcity in Gaza?
Nowadays, one is surprised if you see children wearing shoes in Gaza. There's no winter clothes. There's no shelter. It's ramshackle at best. Adults go by with 1 meal a day max, and mostly it's not a hot meal. Mothers save food from their mouth, literally, to give it to their children. Children spend their days rummaging through garbage belts, looking for anything that could be tradable. But to imagine a Gaza where the population was well educated, children uh, thrived, and were always hoping for better, all that is gone, physically and mentally. And you can see that in the destruction of the facilities. Normal, basic human requirements. That's the challenge.
In addition to the massive surge of humanitarian aid, a senior administration official says the deal calls for efforts to clear rubble and rehabilitate hospitals and bakeries. How will that work?
That's a tremendous task ahead, regardless how that works. We need to clear rubble. The equipment needs to get in. The staff needs to be vetted. People need to be able to work. Same for the rehabilitation of not only hospitals, but I would say health points across the Gaza Strip. Hundreds of organizations are active and willing. They depend on the approved import of the goods they need to do the job. Then it's a matter of time. Assets, technical support, and money.
Beyond what we've been talking about, phase 3 of the ceasefire agreement calls for the long-term reconstruction of Gaza. And the scope there is absolutely overwhelming, as we even saw just today with new before and after satellite photos released above Gaza. 2/3 of all structures destroyed. Do you believe that Gaza can be rebuilt?
And I think it's our collective responsibility. We were not able to stop the war. Children need to go to school. They need to be learning. Pregnant mothers need to be seen by doctors, need to be giving birth in decent conditions. And the story goes on. And in the 21st century, I believe we can do it if we want to. And I think we owe that. We owe that both to Israeli citizens and we owe it to the Palestinians.
Sigrid Kaag, thank you very much.
Thank you.